Today we're going to take some time and get the new high lift jack mounted up to the Tundra. Coming up.
Yeah!
My name's Drew and this is Evergreen Overland. On this channel we do 4x4 vehicle modifications, we hone our outdoor cooking skills, and we do reviews on camping and overland gear like the one we're going to talk about today. As you can see behind me and all around me, my house is still destroyed. Well, not so much the house, but my 3-car garage looks like a camping and overland gear bomb went off in it still. So that's super exciting. I'm hoping to have a little bit of time later today to start organizing and figuring out where I'm going to put things. But today's video, we're going to be mounting up the high lift jack that I got from my father-in-law for Christmas. Thanks, John. Utilizing a mounting bracket that I saw on one of the Three Amigos rigs from my training that I did with them probably a year and a half ago. High lift jacks are a super versatile piece of kit for sure. You either love them or you hate them, or you're like me and you're just learning about them. It's one of those things that I've been meaning to get more training on, and I'm looking to do that in the future, but for the time being, I need to mount up the one that I have so I have it with me to do the training, as well as if I ever need it in the field. Now, going over the high lift jack is not going to be what we're going to talk about today. I am too new at it and definitely don't have the experience to train you on how to use a high lift jack. I really would recommend reaching out to a local 4x4 group or a training school like the Three Amigos. You can see a link for their website down below, and get some proper schooling and training on these things, because if you use them wrong, they can definitely be dangerous, but if you use them right, you're not going to get hurt. Everybody mounts these in, multiple different locations. I was contemplating mounting it on this rear bumper, but my bumper's pretty full, and I thought it would be better to find another location. Some people do mount them on the roof, on like a roof rack. That works for sure. The one I went with isn't extremely heavy at 31 pounds, I believe. Yeah, I've got the Habitat, so I didn't want to put it on the top of the Habitat to where I needed to like hinge that back and worry about knocking my head on it when it's fully deployed and all that. And right now I don't have a roof rack for the truck because nobody makes one really, unless it's a custom job. There's a couple of custom guys out there who will do one for the Tundras, but since I have the Habitat overhang, that's super custom. That's like, I've got to make it or have one of my buddies make it, and it's just not high on my priority list right now. I think I have enough storage in the thing right now to tuck things away where I need to without having to have a roof rack, and also keeping some of the weight low as I can for the rest of it, just because the Habitat itself is 350 pounds. It's sitting pretty high on the truck and adding to the top heaviness of it. So what I came across from the Three Amigos training that I did was a bull bar mount, or specifically a tube mount that's designed to mount to any round tube. The one I got is made to mount from a 1 inch around to from 1 inch around to 2 inch around. They make them that go up to 3.5, I think. I'll link in the description below for sure. All right, I'm gonna get the camera set up, get started on some measuring, and mount this thing up to my bull bar. Well, just moved into this new neighborhood, and I'm sure my neighbors are gonna be starting to look over at me wondering what the hell I'm doing with this camera, but I'm just gonna lean into it heavy, and when they ask, I'll let them know that I'm shooting YouTube videos and being a goober on camera. So I'm going with this tube mount system, and I haven't opened this up yet, but produced by High Lift Jack. This is basically what it is. 2 of these bad boys, all aluminum, super light, so that's cool. This guy is gonna go under the bar. This is gonna top it, bolt it down tight, and then the high lift jack will slip on this thread right here, and you can basically tighten it down so it can be somewhat of a quick release. My plan is not to keep this thing bolted to the front of my truck like all the time, mostly just for the trips that I'm going to be going on with significant off-road and all that kind of stuff. So it's probably not going to live on there. I'll probably take it off for most of the time and put it on when I need it for a trip. I'm excited to get it bolted on. I think it's going to look cool, and it's going to be a good location for this. That's hopefully going to be out of the area of my vision when I'm driving. So let's get started. So I went with the 60-inch high lift jack. They make them in a 48-inch, which is probably more than I'm gonna need, but I figured this is all just cast steel. If I need to cut it down to a smaller length, I can do that, being that it's as long as they make, but I can't add to it. So this thing's pretty heavy duty, man. It's 60 inches. I want this thing to be pretty well centered side by side on the truck. 60 inches divided by 2 is gonna be 30 inches. So I'm gonna find the center point on the truck and then measure out from there so that I can hit at an equal distance to the center as well. Middle point's right there. And then I got 30 and a half inches there. So 30 and a half is 15 and a quarter. Giant pen. So I can't go more than 15 and a quarter over to each side. I think I'm gonna set them in a couple of inches. So 12 inches would put me nice in the center of that bad boy. 12 inches on this side. I'm gonna hit this guy, and I'm gonna hit that guy. I did just notice that these come with two different sizes of U-bolt. I think the only difference is the thread length on them. So I'm guessing the smaller one is for 1-inch tubing and the longer one is for 2-inch tubing. I'm going to use the 2-inch tubing. I've just kind of temporarily hooked up those mounting spots. Looks pretty good. I think I'm going to go in a little bit. It's actually sitting on there pretty good, so I'm just going to watch it and grab some of the pieces I need. The longer U-bolts. Maybe I'll try the shorter ones. I think the shorter ones are the move. If this falls, I'm jumping, because I sure as hell don't want this thing to land on my foot. Flat washer, locking washer, hex nut. Same thing on the back. I believe these are 5/16 size hardware. Locking washer, hex nut. This will be a decent test for my Raptor liner truck bed coated bumper. I really like that this thing sits up here nice and pretty easily by itself. All right. 5/16 bolt, 1/2-inch nut. I measured it out. I got it set basically equal distance side to side. I think it looks good. There we go. And it doesn't really give you any torque specs here, so I'm just gonna wrench it down real freaking tight. This is kind of ridiculous. These stickers seem very suspect. They're not going to stay on long, but it says high lift. So cool. Yeah, so you just... So to use the high lift, you can just take it off that way, throw it back on. What it says to do is use these 1/2-inch lock nuts on there first, and then tighten down the high lift, cheaply branded little aluminum. That's pretty damn stout. I think before going on a trip, I'd probably tighten these down by a little bit more gumption with a pair of vice grips or something. But I mean, that is pretty freaking stout. So I like that. It looks pretty good. Now my only real concern with this thing is that it's going to block my view quite a bit from, you know, obstacles and all that kind of stuff, and let's check that out. It's about where my head is. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue, honestly, and if it became one, I can always relocate it somewhere else, but you can see through that pretty well. It's not really obstructing anything. Looks pretty good, looks pretty beefy. Now I just need kind of a refresher course on how to use the thing properly and safely. Probably contact my buddy Mike over at Three Amigos and set up a little training session with them for sure. One thing that I do need to get is it's like a little retention rubber piece that just helps pin this. It slides down over the shaft of the high lift jack and then helps hold the handle itself without rattling around and all that kind of stuff. But kind of thought the high lift jack came with those. It does not. I'm going to have to order one of those, 17, 18 bucks. I will link one of those down in the description section below as well. Looks pretty good. But I think this thing's gonna work out pretty good. I'm super excited about it. I'm excited that it's just so easy to take on and off. Definitely gonna be nice to be able to pop it off and not have it riding on the rig when I'm just driving around town and all that kind of stuff. Hey, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, consider hitting that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, definitely throw them down in the comments section below. If you want to see more videos like this, go check out the YouTube channel. If you want to follow me a little bit more over on Instagram, it's at Evergreen Overland or evergreenoverland.com. Thanks for watching.